Who are you?
I am Juice Wrld.
I've been through so much. I'm 19 years old. It's been months since I felt at home, but it's okay cause I'm rich. Psych, I'm still sad as a bitch.
A posthumous album is when an artist dies and an album is released to the public after their death. Some people have split opinions on the morality of this, so let's dive into it. Okay, so we all know Juice Wrld's probably one of, if not the biggest artist in hip hop, and with his album in 2019, Death Race for Love, being the last album Jarad would work on himself before his untimely demise on the 8th of December 2019, his first posthumous album in 2020, ironic and wholly beautiful, Legends Never Die, is a great example of a good posthumous album. It respected the original vision of the artist and is there to honour the original craft. However, for every Legends Never Die, we have an Everybody's Everything, a poorly assembled project that portrays itself more as a collection of awfully mixed voice notes than a cohesive project. Everybody's Everything was a Lil Peep album which released in 2019, and though it wasn't a horrible album, it was just a complete and utter mess. It has far too many tracks, some of which sounded more like an album featuring Lil Peep than a Lil Peep album. The actual quality of the tracks vary, and there's no questioning that the record label viewed Peep as a money-grabbing cash cab, and it's this type of posthumous album that clearly exists as a profit-grabbing, rather than a work of art that depicts what the artist clearly wanted. These two albums exist on completely opposite sides of the posthumous album. And an example I wanted to get into, which is another good example of a bad posthumous album, is Fighting Demons. Fighting Demons just has a major problem, and it's that Grade A Productions were clearly running out of music that Juice Wrld left behind to fit into another album. And it's so obvious when you listen, because there's so many songs that just have the same chorus repeating 3 or 4 times with loads of verses from guest artists, and clearly he'd wrote a chorus for a song and then that was all they had to play off. The songs are also awfully mixed for some reason. Like, if you listen to the original chorus for Feline and then the demo version, the demo just somehow sounds way better than the final release. Right, here, take a listen.
You's a pussy boy, yeah, you a feline. Get your own business and get out mine. You's a pussy boy, yeah, you a feline. Get your own business and get out mine.
With the exception of a few select collaborators, the album Legends Never Die was Juice Wrld through and through. It had painful lyrics, and it made you really upset because you relate to Juice Wrld. But Fighting Demons seems to lack this, and instead it sort of goes for a collaborators album featuring Juice Wrld, and it just really is a shame. A good posthumous album is meant to hit you in the heart because you're listening to the album that is supposed to represent the artist at his or her best artistic peak. It's supposed to be the artist at their very best, and they never got to reach that potential. But with albums like Everybody's Everything and Fighting Demons, it felt like they were using Juice Wrld and Lil Peep as money grabbers, clawing at the last bit of their tits that they could hold on to. The decision for record labels to release posthumous albums are completely valid. The albums tend to be best-selling albums, and they're a really good way to honour the artist, but it's the same record labels that are making albums just to squeeze every bit of green out of the fans' pockets, almost using them in a somewhat malicious way, and how we end up with albums like Fighting Demons and Everybody's Everything. In all, I think posthumous albums are fine as long as they respect the artist's artistic integrity. But at this point, we can tell that they're just pumping out every bit of ooze from Jarad's dead corpse because they know fans will just gobble anything Juice Wrld related. The reason I even did this video was because even now they're still somehow making songs with Juice Wrld, such as Nightcrawler from Trippie Redd's Mansion music album that literally only just released recently. And I'm sorry, but we really need to give Jarad a rest. Like, let the man rest in peace without having his name smeared on every piece of shit rap garbage that Trippie Redd or any other artist clinging onto his name makes. And with that, I bid you all a good night.
If anybody's going through anything, I hope and I pray that you get through it, and just know that you do have the strength to get through whatever the fuck you're going through, no matter what it is.